Good evening and welcome back to Cannon Chatter TV, as well as AlbertJTV this evening. I am your host tonight, Lottie, and I am on the screen with my two favourite people in the whole YouTube community. I've got my bestie sitting next to me, which is G. How are you doing, G?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm so excited for tomorrow. I've had my bag packed for days for the Euros. I'm so excited to be going up to Old Trafford. Oh, a bit of technical difficulty there. That's absolutely fine. And I'm going to say hello to my other favourite on the YouTube community, and that's my other bestie. Albs, how you doing?
Good, man. We've arrived, man. Preview the day before the night after, should I say? But no, this has been in the pipeline for a while, man. So we knew he was going to cover it. It's been coming, and the excitement's built up absolutely for the tournament, man. So looking forward to it. Buzzing for yourself for going to the game tomorrow, the opening game. There's lots to talk about.
Yeah, no, absolutely buzzing. Now that I've introduced everybody, I'm going to quickly run to the brand new Euro intro. Please be kind, people. I did make this myself, and it is my first one. So see you on the other side.
It's not just a game.
She knows exactly where the goal is. That never changes.
It's not just a women's team.
This is the Lionesses.
This is family.
All of us.
All together.
Our England.
Cannon Chatter presents
The Lioness Take Over. Euro 2022.
All right, welcome back to Cannon Chatter TV and AlbertJTV, because we are streaming from both channels tonight, which is absolutely brilliant. So, guys, how excited are we for tomorrow night? Whether we're going or watching it from home. Ladies first.
Beyond. It seems like every conversation I'm having with people I know at the minute, they're asking me when the game is, when does it start, what time, what channel, everything. So I don't know if that's a mixture of me putting it in their heads or they have been noticing the promotions of it. But either way, just to get more people interested and watch it when it's on a decent channel as well at a good time. It's amazing. So I just can't wait for it to start, and almost like the England fever is almost here.
Yeah, no, I've got to be honest with you. The women's Euros on Spotify dropped their playlist, and I've had it on solidly for the last 48 hours. I think this is the first time today I'm not actually listening to it because I'm joined by you wonderful people. Albs, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good, man. One thing I must say, very important, people. We are streaming from both channels, from AlbertJTV and Cannon Chatter. But also remember, smash a like on each channel, because if you smash a like on mine, it won't automatically be a like on Cannon Chatter. So, and vice versa. So it's important, people, that you do that. So multitask, smash the like, obliterate the like button, should I say? Sorry. But looking forward to it, man. As I said to you two before, in terms of the women's football, the national side I've followed for a long time, man. Long time. So any tournament football, and I think especially because it's a home tournament as well, is huge. I think the players are probably feeling it a little bit. They're very cool, calm, and collected with certain individuals, but there's a massive pressure there. And I know a lot of the England ladies spoke to like the men's team in terms of how they prepped in terms of the tournament, and the whole media day thing that you probably saw on Sky Sports, which was fantastic, by the way, which Caroline Barker did. Great to know the players inside out, really, and put them out to a wider audience, and maybe some of the people that are new to women's football and not familiar with I believe there's 9 debutants in the England squad for this tournament, I believe. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting, Van Tots and G. Exciting times.
Yeah, and one of those is one of G's new favourites, but we will get on to her much later. I am going to jump over to the comments and see who's in there before my first guest comes in, because I can see him waiting in the background. So we've got Holly and Holly. Congrats on the 1K, Albert. Got Riddy in the chat. Evening, ladies and gents. Go on. This is a jazzy intro. Thank you, Holly. Must say, this song is a good one on the old canvas. Yes, 100%, Holly. Completely agree. Thank you, Riddy, for a smashing intro. And Holly's already off seeing 3 lions on the shirt. He's 2 days behind me, so we're all good to go. Right, and my first guest is in the back, so I'm going to bring him on. He does a lot of stuff on Arsenal Fans Forever with G. Everybody, welcome Jonesy to the chat. How are you, Jonesy?
Good. How you doing? How you doing, guys?
Yeah, all good. All
Jonesy,
good.
not bad, mate. Good to see you.
How are you feeling for the tournament, mate?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's been a long time coming, hasn't it? So just wanted to kick off. Just anticipating the return of football, and what a better way to have it back than with this tournament tomorrow.
No, definitely. I mean, I'm absolutely buzzing. I mean, the sweepstake's been done by G, but I'll let G talk about that a bit more in a bit. But Albert, what? Oh my gosh, my mind's gone blank. I'm really sorry. G, do you want to talk about the sweepstakes? My mind's completely gone blank. I've lost it.
Luckily, I was searching online and they've actually made a Euros one, so we didn't have to put too much effort into it. All we had to do was put our names in and it generated it all by itself. I'll mention ours first. So we'll go with Albert first. I don't know if you saw earlier, but you have actually drawn probably the best one. You got Spain and the Netherlands. How did you feel when that popped up?
I was at work, so obviously you guys sent me the message through in terms of who I got. I said, this is unbelievable. In a good way, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Listen, any sweepstake you do, right, even if it's Eurovision, you want to get the Britain or the UK. But to get Spain on, I thought, you know what? I cannot complain with those two, man. So I am very, very, not smug, but I'm happy with the choices I've got.
Nice. Yeah. And unfortunately, Jonesy probably had one of the worst ones. You had Norway and Austria. Obviously, we both know that both of them are in our group anyway. So maybe you might be all right with one. But how did you feel when you saw those earlier?
I think I was the reverse of Albert. He was excited. I think I had to sit down and take a few deep breaths. But no, Norway are a decent team. They can cause an upset on their day, and they're pretty much dark horses in this tournament. So I'm quietly confident with Norway, to be honest, to make the latter stages.
Nice.
Hopefully, not at the expense of England.
Fingers crossed. Lottie, you drew out Northern Ireland and Italy.
Yeah, well, Northern Ireland, I'm not holding up much hope from what I've seen in the World Cup qualifiers. Italy, though, they got some class players. I'll come on to my person of interest in a little bit, but she's pretty incredible. So it was a complete random out of the team, and it was a really good pick. But I think Italy have a decent chance, but how far they go, I have no idea.
One of the dark horses, maybe.
Yeah, I did try to tempt Albert to swap with me, but no chance.
That was not happening.
Not a chance, eh?
But Jonesy, I want to ask you, mate, in terms of I don't know how long you've been following the women's football, whether it be domestically or internationally. Can you remember what's your sort of first memories of women's football domestically and internationally for England?
To be fair, it's mainly domestically with Arsenal. I always used to follow Alex Scott and all the rest of them. I always used to watch the FA Cup with my dad when we was always in it. And it isn't really till this season really that I really got into it. I went to a couple of games with Lottie, Champions League, the North London derby, and it's just really heightened my interest a lot more. It's a lot more depressing than the men's game, to be honest. But that's saying something else. But yeah, I just think the quality and football that they're bringing these ladies at the moment is phenomenal. Yeah, they're fully deserving of being paid as much as the men, and they should have the screen time and the TV time and the media time as much as the professional men and the professional women. So this tournament is going to be it's going to be the biggest one. That's what they've said, and I'm fully looking forward to it. But yeah, I can't wait, to be honest. I just want tomorrow night to happen now.
Yeah, sometimes Jones, you know what it is? I think sometimes the women's game has grown massively. People obviously argue sometimes how quickly that process has been. We're getting there slowly. You know, I mean, like I said to the guys before we went live, you know, with the men's team, they had like the media day, and I'm old enough to remember the days where them things never used to happen. So I think for the national team to get them kind of things, and it's more exposure for them, and it's new to them, to be honest with you. Yes, they're professional footballers, but they would never have had this exposure in terms of the national team for as long as I can remember. So, mate, onwards and upwards, man. The growth has been fantastic. You know, with
Definitely.
a lot of things, it comes down to money, doesn't it? So we'll see in years to come. But yeah, it's very excited for this tournament. I'll bring in my fantastic co-host Lottie.
Yeah, no, I'm sitting here thinking that we're all England fans on this channel. We might as well be straight up and honest, but we do have other teams to look at.
Yes. Good point.
Jonesy, how far do you think the girls are going to go under Sarina? That is the biggest question of the night for me, for my guests.
I think it's all about expectation. I think with this group of players, they're expected to win it. Let's be honest, it's on our home turf. And looking at it, if we can get the route that we want, I can see us, you know, possibly getting Spain if we make it to the finals, if they follow their route as well. But I can definitely see us winning this. There's
big chance.
I don't know. There's just something special in the air, I think, this year.
Yeah, no, definitely. I can totally agree with that. I am going to slightly disagree with the Spain one though, because we've just found out that Alexia Putellas, the Ballon d'Or winner, has gone out with an ACL injury, and they have no Hermoso either, which is gut wrenching for Spain. But one to watch is definitely Athena Del Castillo, which is going to be very good to watch. Albert's sitting there with his smile on his face. I'm sure we'll hear some more about her in a bit.
Yeah, because you mentioned you mentioned a good point, Lottie, actually, in terms of yes, we want England to do well, but you know, there's a lot of talent in this tournament, and me and Lottie are going to one of the non-England games. We're going to Spain, Germany. So looking forward to that.
No, definitely. That's next Tuesday at Brentford Stadium. I can tick Brentford Stadium off my stadium list now. I'm now at 165 UK and European grounds.
Nice.
All men's though, but I am going to start making my little list for my women's grounds this season. I will be going up and down the country with the girls, hopefully, with some luck, and I will be taking my wonderful co-host that is sitting right next to me, and I'm going to hand over to her.
Fingers crossed, hey? Yeah,
definitely.
Just going back to the sweepstakes a second here. So mine were Denmark and Belgium. We've obviously played Belgium quite recently as well. You know, I think we comfortably beat them in the end, but when it comes into tournaments, obviously it's a bit different to playing your friendlies leading up to it. So there'll be an interesting one to see how they sort of cope. And Denmark, I've kind of heard bits and bobs that they could be really, really up there. They've got a really good squad. Obviously, we know a couple, but most of them are sort of spread out across different leagues as well. So another team, I feel like there's a lot of teams that are going to get quite close. You know, it's not like with other ones where you could guarantee a couple of teams might get there, or the usual names of the teams. But this time round, with the women, I think that there's so much talent across Europe at the minute in our league, obviously with the Champions League. So it's a really exciting time to broaden our horizons to other players as well. Do you want me to mention some of the other sweepstakes? Should I just quickly go through the others?
I actually really want to quickly ask Jonesy on his thoughts on the Netherlands game, because out of all the international friendlies, that is my favourite game.
Yeah,
I do feel like it meant a bit more, especially with Sarina at the wheel and with the Netherlands' new manager, who is an English coach. So it must have been a bit strange playing against your own country. But how do you think that the Lionesses did? And especially with Viv on the bench. Like, we know how lethal she is, but she didn't start. So, which says a lot. And they do play her up front and not where Jonas Eiderwolf plays her. So she hasn't got that freedom like we see at Arsenal. I do apologise, guys. I've got my Arsenal hat on again. But that's where my knowledge base comes from on Viv. But how do you think we did overall, Jonesy? And how do you think Sarina felt playing them? Because that was her old team.
Yeah, it was a strange one, wasn't it? it was like a role reversal, basically, wasn't it? It was. I think we did okay. You know, we played very well. You know, and that's what I mean. The confidence that we can take from that game, if that we can put that straight into against Austria tomorrow night, then, you know, like I say, I don't want to jinx it. That's the thing. We watch England, we watch the men's game, we watch other games. I don't want to say anything, but I'm on it. But I was like, do you know what I mean? So I feel like I've got to, but I'm confident. I'm very confident, to be honest.
Yeah. I think that's probably why we're going to be avoiding score predictions for most of the England games. I will be, because I know I'm a jinx. I'm afraid I'm going to take my Statman Matt's stance on this, which I'm totally with. Actually, G, I'm gonna throw this one at you. How do you think Sarina's feeling about this tournament? I mean, she's won the European Championships before. Can she do it again?
Yeah, I think me and you watched the Lionesses show that they put out yesterday. It was half an hour long, and it sort of picked up from when she first joined. And straight away, she was like, the whole reason I came here was for the challenge. You know, she's done what she's done with her own country, which is probably for a coach the pinnacle you can get to, winning a major tournament with your own country. So I don't think she'll be thinking too much about them at all. You know, she's already been there, done it. So I think the kind of character she's looked to be in all the press conferences and everything, she just wants to, she's fully focused on us. She openly said how much talent we have and how much she could see the togetherness and with the fans as well, and what it's growing over here. And she wanted to be a part of it. So I think she's had her moment with her country. Obviously, she'll be in the back of her mind. It's still her country, isn't it? So you'll always support them in a way. But I think her full focus is with us, and she'll really be wanting to take that over and achieve something greater for herself as well, and do it twice.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's absolutely spot on. Before I hand over to Albert, I'm going to quickly flip over to the comments. Holly is telling us we've been blessed with her singing for 3 Lions, I'm assuming. We've got Mr. Silver Fox, also known as Uncle Tony, in the chat. Good evening, you glorious bunch. Come on, you Lionesses. We've got Richard in the chat. They're really looking forward to the tournament. Seems to have taken an age to get here, and it's great to see you all giving this some top coverage. Brilliant. Thank you, Rich. Holly's back. Tempting to go to the Northern Ireland game on Thursday at St. Mary's. There's still loads of tickets.
Do it.
Well, if anyone's around in Southampton, absolutely go and buy your tickets. And Holly, you better be going, because I heard you had tickets the last time. So don't miss it. Seriously.
Holly, just go to the Spoons and put the word out. I'm sure people will go, but don't worry.
Rally the people.
Yeah. We've got Captain Martin Walker. Hey, yo. Holly, Alex Scott is still my face, even though the Arsenal bit. For anybody in the chat that doesn't know Holly, she is a Tottenham fan, but we're on mutual ground now.
Yes, we are.
Got Ross Morgan. Hey guys, over and over. Denmark's issue is that they're in the group with Spain and Germany. Tough group. That I do feel like that is the group of death out of the women's. Mm-hmm. That group is it's going to be hard, but it's going to be very good to watch.
It's a hard group. It is.
Rich again. Vivian's 100% when we played the Dutch. She did score twice against Finland on Monday. Okay. Holly, it's actually coming home. Haha, I'm going to the England one. The Northern Ireland on Friday. Up the spoons. And last one from Rich. Sarina is a top coach. She's made a big improvement. Such a short time. The stars are aligned for us. We'll never be a better chance of winning for the tournament. Well, we'll see. Al, the floor's all yours.
Yeah, Jones, I'm coming to you. Yeah, I saw. I watched Sky Sports. It must have been probably no more than 2 weeks ago. They're speaking to Leon Sanderson, and she was saying that. I think, don't quote my words to this, but I think she's saying that England have had better squads. I was like, well, that's an interesting take, because I've seen some excellent England players over 15, 20 odd years, to be honest with you. I don't know what games you saw in terms of England's build-up, in terms of whether it be the Arnold Clark Cup games or the last few games, but what's impressed you the most about this England side, or any individual stood out for you?
I mean, personally, I think this current crop of players we've got at the moment is probably our best squad we've got.
The best, I think. Yeah.
best I've seen for a long while. And you got to look at the likes of Hemp. She's been so impressive lately, as well as in domestic thing. But I just think it's the way we're playing now. We got a swagger, we got a confidence. It seems teams are scared of us, and I don't remember men or women teams being really scared of England. I think that's the way Sarina's got them playing at the moment. And there's bags of talent in that squad, and it's just going to be. It's their time to shine. Basically, they can do what they want on that pitch starting from tomorrow. And if they play to their full capacity, I'm excited. You know what I mean? But yeah, this current crop, Sanderson, I think she said that it was something along the lines of she don't think this is the strongest or something like that.
Yeah. I remember her saying it.
Yeah, but I tend to disagree. I'm not. Don't quote me. From what I've seen, I just think this current group with Sarina at the helm, big things to come. I hope she sticks around. I hope we win it. I hope she wants more after that. World Cup next.
Yeah, that's next summer, which is all exciting stuff for sure.
No, you make a good point. Go on, Lottie. Go on.
No, continue.
No, I was probably gonna bring something back to you two guys, obviously my amazing co-host. But I think Jonesy, I think what I've sort of seen with obviously the warm-up games, I think the Arnold Clark Cup games were very important because of the teams that they were playing against. Because a lot been spoken about the England team in terms of the qualification games and maybe other nations not being as strong, and England don't concede many goals since Sarina Wiegman's been there. But I think defensively, particularly with England, that's one thing I think defensively, I think they're excellent. I think they've got an abundance of versatility across the entire back four. So sort of coming towards Lottie and G, do you agree that defensively England actually look, even Steph Houghton's not there. I wouldn't have taken her personally, but I think England are very, very strong defensively.
Yeah, exactly. They are, but the thing is, that's probably the one area where we're the most experienced. Actually, when you look in terms of how many appearances the girls have, actually from all the forwards are the ones that are on the minimal caps. So I think that sort of back four. We were mentioning it just to each other yesterday. It kind of picks itself really at this point, doesn't it? Maybe you could bring one person in and change one in midfield, but realistically, that flat back four is what we all think it's going to be. And just touching on Steph Houghton, I think it was the right decision to sort of leave her out. Yes, her experience maybe, but then Millie's played alongside her for a long time as well as Lucy Bronze to the side. So I don't think we'll miss the experience as such coming from her, because I think we've got people around that were playing next to her anyway that was slot in that back four still. So yeah, I don't think I don't know if you agree if she should have gone or not, but I think that's one of our strongest. And the only real change has been in the goalkeeper situation. I don't know if you saw it today, but Mary Earps did the Lionesses live. And she said she would never, this time a year ago, she would never have believed she would wear an England shirt again. I know we've had a lot of change with the goalkeepers. I think one's retired and one's kind of moved on. And even Sarina's brought in some of the younger girls. But she's still, and Mary's, I think she's on 18 appearances. And she's got that shirt and she's just she didn't expect it to happen. So I think, it's a fresh goalkeeper, but I think with her experience, the experienced girls in front of her as well, she always seems quite settled. So I'm excited to see how she gets along, because I feel like sometimes in our game she doesn't really have much to do. So I'm looking forward to her slightly being challenged.
No, well said. Let me bring in Lottie.
No, I completely agree with everything what G said. Leaving Steph out was the right decision. I mean, she's been a loyal servant over the years, but it does come to a point when do you take that choice to step down? And also it's the same with the captaincy. Leah is now our captain, so which I'm as an Arsenal fan, we're all happy about that. So you can see Jonesy's face that below me.
I'm very happy with Jimmy Joseph. Very happy with that decision. Yeah.
Yeah, of course you are.
Tony Adams vibes. That's what it gives me. Tony Adams vibes.
100%. But in terms of everything else G said, I can't echo it more. I think the only interesting wild card in there for me is Rach Daly over at Houston Dash. She is a forward, not a defender. So, but she's that versatile. It's
everywhere.
absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
She's basically our Katie McCabe.
Could you play in goal as well?
Lottie,
could you play in goal as well?
I have no idea. You'd have to ask either Ellie, Mary, or Hannah.
We'll give it a go.
I'm afraid.
No, you make a good point. She can literally play anywhere. I also want to quickly ask Jonesy. Obviously, I didn't see it coming. I think Lottie might agree in G in terms of where Sarina's playing Leah, because I never saw that coming as a sort of a double pivot with We'll talk about another favourite of mine a little bit later, but is that a surprise to you to see Leah being moved out of the defensive area into a more central area with Kira Walsh? Is that a surprise to you, or have you seen her play there before?
Yeah, no, it was a total surprise, to be honest. Like I said, when I've watched her at Arsenal, she's always been at the back in defence, you know. But why? You know, she's a talented footballer. Why can't she do that job there? She knows the defensive role. And it's like the added protection. For me, it's like a five at the back, but it's not a five at the back, if you know what I mean. It's like she's going to be there to provide that cover. And she's got a bit about her when she can go forward as well. She can pick out a pass. We've seen her do that over at the Arsenal. So I think there's method in Sarina's madness, but it's not so much madness. I think it's quite a great tactical deployment, really, to put her in there.
No, I couldn't agree more with that. I mean, there's certain players you can move around and the whole team changes. We saw that with the Netherlands game and definitely with the Switzerland's game. So, no, 100%. Just to round off, Jonesy, because I've got my next guest in the back waiting to come on, I'm going to get G to ask you what your sweepstakes are in our, what do you call them, G? With the Golden Glove.
Yeah. We've got Golden Glove. We've got the winners. Top goal scorer, Golden Boot, whichever one you want to go for.
And then England's best.
Keep it with England. A player that you think is really going to take their time and shine this tournament. So if you want to go with the overall winners first.
Yeah, I went for Spain.
Nice.
But that was earlier today. But I'm still going to stick with her. I'm not going to change it this last hour.
Yeah. And what about the Golden Glove?
Golden Glove I've got for Panos for Spain as well.
Nice. You never know. These things do go a bit around, don't they? Top goal scorer?
I went for Viv. I reckon she's going to shine in this tournament. Hopefully not too much against us, but I can see her definitely bagging in some goals in that group.
Yeah, nice. And then the England star?
I've gone for Beth Mead. I have to. I reckon she's been brilliant for Arsenal this season. And I just think she's going to carry it into this tournament, you know. And you know, there's obviously Hemp as well, but I've gone with Beth Mead. Banger from Beth Mead in the final to win it.
Nice.
What Jonesy?
Throwing predictions everywhere.
Brilliant.
I'll write them down and keep a note.
No, brilliant. Jonesy, thank you for joining us tonight. Where can everyone find you if they want to drop you a follow?
Cheers, yeah, just on Twitter. You see me about official Jonesy, Arsenal fans forever. Pretty much doing my business on there with G, graphic design, that sort of stuff. If you need anything, hit me up. Always available for work. But no, thank you guys for bringing me on tonight and letting me talk about the women's game. I don't get a chance to speak about it much.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. No, thank you for that.
Definitely, we'll have you back on throughout the month for sure. But Jonesy, thank you for joining us tonight, and we will catch you soon.
Have a good show, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Go on, Jonesy.
That was good fun, wasn't it?
It was good.
I mean, ran a bit over time, but not too bad. Not too bad. So my next two guests are my regulars. I've got one of them is King of the Dad Jokes, and that is Adam Salterfor. How are you, Adam?
Evening all. How are you all? I am live from Manchester itself. 5 minutes from Old Trafford. I am in, you know, I'm there and ready to go. So yes, all good, all set here.
Nice.
Oh, brilliant. I will be joining you tomorrow. And I've got my other favourite in the back as well. He's usually my stat man for my Arsenal Lady show, and that is Matt. How are you, Matt?
Evening, Matt. You're on mute, Matt.
Made a blunder already.
Hey.
Hey.
Nice of me to go on.
Hi guys, how are you?
Oh,
Yeah, all good. All good. So, right, I'm going to hand over to Albert and I'm going to let him throw the first question at you guys.
Yes. Good.
Don't sound so solemn.
Adam, it's nice to meet you. First time.
Too, Albert.
Yeah,
absolutely.
nice
I've been looking
you.
forward to this. It's a pleasure.
No, it's great to get you. Great to get you two guys on. So, I think for me, I want to ask you two. I want to get to Adam first. I think it's a good problem in terms of we talk about the England number 10 role. The obvious protagonists, obviously, you've got Fran Kirby, you've got Georgia Stanway, and obviously you've got Ella Toone as well. What do you think Sarina Wiegman will do in terms of who gets that sort of role, and who would you like to see in that number 10 role as such, Adam?
Yes, good question, because it's one I've actually thought about and read about. So my instinct is you'll probably go Kirby because of the experience. It's not the role. It's not the one I would go for. I've seen Kirby play in quite a few England tournaments. She made her debut back in 2015 in Canada.
Yeah,
and she scored one goal in every tournament. But I never have felt that she's really, seen the best of her. Certainly when you see her play for Chelsea, especially in that cup final. But you see how great she is then, and then it comes to tournaments. I mean, she wasn't great at the 2019 tournament, and I think it hasn't helped. She's been played out of position a fair amount. Now, I think Sarina, if she was to play Kirby, will play her at 10. What I think will betray her this time is that she's been out with fatigue issues since February. And looking at her in the friendlies, I wasn't that convinced. I mean, in the Switzerland game, she had a really good opportunity, like the first minute or so, duffed it, and then just disappeared from the game completely. And then I think she got hooked for Toone after about 60 or so minutes. I think she will pick Kirby, though, just because of a tournament experience. The player I'd like to see in that position is Ella Toone. She's played at Old Trafford before, so she knows the ground. Obviously, she's a Manchester United player through and through, and I think she'll revel in that position. What I would say is, as it's been made quite clear in these warm-ups, that England are a second-half team. So it may actually be in Sarina's thinking that she wants Ella Toone to be the prime player, but she'll bring her on in the second half, maybe when the Austrian defence has been tied out with like the pace of Mead and Hempel Kelly or whoever it is she chooses to play on the wings. So Toone is my pick for 10, so it's more of an Ella 10 than an Ella Toone. But I think Kirby will be the one I think Kirby will be the one that Sarina will plump for.
No, Adam, good shot. You know what? I think Stanway might get the nod,
It's a fair shout. No.
Yeah, I think she will.
The only thing against her, I think she can be a bit erratic, especially in the tackles. Yes. I mean, we've seen a few, and defensively, it's a bit of a wobble, which is why it was always funny to see a Gareth Taylor player at defence. It was just, you might as well make Paul Scholes a right back. I mean, what could go wrong? But no, she's got the experience, and she can score goals. She's got some, she's good from the spot. She's got some good goals for us in qualifying. So it is a flip of the coin between Stanway and Toone. If it'd been anywhere else, if it'd been at Brighton's ground, or if it'd been at the St Mary's, I would have gone Stanway. But just for this occasion, because it's Old Trafford, I think that just tips it in Toone's favour. And I was really excited by Toone's friends, especially against the Netherlands when she came on. I know Van Beenendaal had a bit of a wobble with the shot, but she was She and Russo were electric. So no, Toone for me is my pick for 10.
No, Adam's great shout, man. Matt, sort of the same question to you. What I'd say is I like Kirby because I think in terms of if I'm talking about Kirby and probably Georgia Stanway gets into great areas in terms of making runs. But I think decision making wise, Kirby's probably a little bit better in my humble opinion. In the final thirds especially. And what's your thoughts, Matt, sort of coming into the tournament with England?
Yeah, I think Franco with coming back up match fitness levels, she hasn't played many minutes even in the friendlies. That doesn't really help. On top of that, she's been in and outside since the season started. She went away and then last minute she was given a call up to the Lionesses for this tournament. I don't know if I was expecting her to go, because it was almost like a similar situation that Steph was in, where you thought, would she have gone, wouldn't she gone, because of the lack of minutes. But she played the final in the FA Cup final at the end of the season. it is one of those things when you see Fran Kirby play, you can see how special she is, but she hasn't reached that yet. So it would be great to see her develop more at this tournament. If I'm looking at who would start, I would probably say you want Stanway to start more than anyone else at the moment. I understand the erratic thing, but for me, again, when Stanway was on, she was up for that game more than anyone else. She was happy to do those tough tackling, taking the yellow cards and things like that. So that will be the important thing, is that we've got players that will be up and ready for attacking midfielders, that will be happy to take the card for a team and just be ready for whatever Austria throw, because we know what they're going to be about. They'll try and defend as deeply as they can. We know they've got a decent goalkeeper, or say decent, we should say world-class, should I say? And a brilliant right back as well. Shall we add to that as well? So
best keeper in the league.
Yeah, and
100%. No penalties let in.
And they've got an amazing striker in there as well that I'm sure someone will probably talk about, whoever's got Austria in that team. So it's going to be one of those games that I think Georgia Stanway's made for that more than anyone else.
No, well said. No, go on.
No, definitely well said, as Albert just said. Speaking of Manu Zinsberger and Mary, and I'm going to bring Mary Earps into this. We know Zinsberger hasn't let the penalty in a long time, and she comes up against all of our forwards. Maybe not the Arsenal girls, but most of the forwards all the time, all season round. How do you think she's going to cope up at Old Trafford? I know we know Mary Earps will absolutely revel in it because she's Man United through and through. But how do you think both keepers are going to do from tomorrow? I'm going to come to Matt first.
I think this is going to be an important one, and this is where, like this game at Switzerland, for them to say goodbye in a huge stadium in Zurich was important, and it would have. I don't know if Austria did the same thing, but it would have been nice to sort of get that stadium experience, so that would have been prepared more for this match. I think Manu thrives more on the more fans that are there, the better she feels. I mean, they've also been to, I believe it was Wembley. They were at Wembley, I believe. So they've got some sort of experience of stadium atmosphere. And I think certain players will thrive on it. Some of them will be quite nervous. Mary Earps may have the upper hand on this one just because it's Old Trafford. But to be honest, you could probably have Sylvain Wiltord probably turning up to give her a phone call and say, don't worry about this, I've got your back, or something like that. Just to sort of rub it in a little bit more towards the United players.
Good time.
No, brilliant. Adam?
It's an interesting one because it's for Zinsberger, it's basically a WSL match because of her relationship with the England team. We did play Austria in the qualifiers, and it was the toughest one. I think we only won 1-0. I think it was a wide goal because she scores most of them. So it was very slim margins, and I think Zinsberger will be key to that. The difference is I don't think the Austrian defence is as strong as, say, our defence, Arsenal defence in this case. So she will get more exposure, and I think obviously England will attack differently than some of the WSL sides. I think she'll have a good game, and I think she will be worked. It will be tough. I mean, if we get a penalty, I'm kind of torn because I want her to keep her record, but then I want her to score it. So it's a bit sort of halfway. Although in fairness, our record at spot kicks as having suffered the Olympics in 2019 is not great. So you never know. I think she'll have a good game, but I think that we will be able to outmaneuver her. But no, she'll find a different position. You just got to hope. If we get an early goal, then hopefully that'll be fine. Because the longer it goes on, the more confidence she will have. And with that, was it 70,000 fans or whatever? It's only going to get more and more nerve wracking. And I don't want to be nerve wracking this time. Tomorrow, I want to be enjoying the game, not watching it from behind my fingers.
No, I'm definitely on the same page as you there tomorrow. I mean, it's the one thing we don't want to see as England fans, is it, Jay?
No, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like there's been a few questions flying around of will the occasion and will the number of the crowd potentially have any factor in the type of game it is tomorrow. It could be a little bit of a wobbly game.
Sellout, so
opening game. Then, if we're
I think.
completely honest, they're not used to that level. 75,000 people is a lot of people. And if you're not consistently playing, you do get big crowds at the FA Cup, for example, and throughout the league they're a bit lower, or maybe more in the Champions League. But Matt, do you think that could the kind of atmosphere and the type of game could maybe cause the game to actually not be as free flowing as we would hope tomorrow?
Perhaps, yes. I think Austria will probably have the benefit of the doubt, really, because they can sort of come off this hands-free and say, well, England have to do something here. We can just sit back, relax, and do our thing. They came to these Euros after turning up for in the semi-finals, and pretty much did the same thing that they were doing in the qualifying, winning 1-0 and 2-0s, and I think they're happy to do that no matter what the stadium size is. If I had to pick players out that I think would struggle, Toon actually was very bad in that game at Old Trafford against Everton. I don't know what it is. Every time I see her play for Man United, she just doesn't seem to thrive very well. She just seems very off it. So I don't know why she was in the squad to begin with. And when you have 3 number 10s, if it were, it kind of makes it a bit odd to have 3 attacking midfielders, considering that you could have an extra central midfielder, say Jordan Nobbs or someone like a Jill Scott that could perhaps fill in that midfield a little bit more. But again, these sorts of things will be key. I think Alessia Russo will be hoping and praying that she gets on that pitch. She scored a brilliant hat-trick against Everton, and that height caused so much chaos. So if she does start, I think she'll be running up and down the training pitch, and really looking forward to that game. And I think she'll thrive on that if she is starting ahead of Ellen White, but I don't think that she will, if I'm honest.
Do you know what? That's a really good point. I mean, me and G were talking about this earlier. Ellen White's not droppable, is she? I mean,
it's hard, isn't it?
How do you drop Ellen White, Adam? Can you even drop her?
Yes. Just wanted to follow up on G's earlier point about the crowds. England had been here before, because in 2005 they opened their home Euros in Manchester. It was in the Etihad or City of Manchester, as it was known at the time, and they almost fumbled it. They went 2-0 up. They weren't playing great, and Finland got it back to 2-2. And it's only because seconds later, Karen Carney, as we've seen in that superb intro, Karen Carney come in and dink that shot into the top corner, bailed out England. So they have fumbled in this environment when all of a sudden the world, UK's eyes are upon them. I think it will be an interesting test when we go to this particular game to see how far they've advanced, not only from a talent perspective, but from a mental perspective. And I think they are a better shape mentally, and will be able to handle the pressure. They've played in, the Emirates Stadium and Old Trafford. They've played in cup finals. Some of them played in that England Germany game at Wembley. They lost the game, but it was a huge audience. So the notion of playing in front of 70,000 fans is not overly foreign to them. While infrequent, is they will be used to it. As for dropping Ellen White, I think you can. I think we saw her play. You can. We saw her play against Belgium, and she looked rusty. She since had COVID, she never got a chance to win her space back. My feeling is that the 3 strikers that we've seen start, in case of White, Beth England, Ellen White, Beth England, and Russo. Russo is the one that I've been most excited about, which means that therefore she'll likely come off the bench, because that's how England work now. So, so we'll see. It could be Beth England. Russo is the one I'm more excited for. Purely on merit, I would start her. I think the problem I've always had with England is the over reliance on a single player, and that White carried us through 2019, and she carried us at the Olympics. And I think that does need to be a bit imbalance. I think, we might be nearing the end of the white train. She's very good and, very reliable, very experienced. I'm sure she will score goals in this tournament. But for me, I would start Russo again because, like Matt said, she's played at Old Trafford. She scored at Old Trafford. She knows her way around the pitch, and I think having that pitch familiarity cannot be underestimated. So she would be my pick.
I agree. It's one of those, isn't it? You there's always going to be someone that probably won't start, but could definitely be there pushing. And I don't think it could. The way she was playing against Switzerland the other day, she chased every single thing down, even to the last second, she'd slide to keep the ball in to pass to someone else. And you've seen her create chances from not giving up. So it's just one of those, it's another type of player we can bring in that maybe has a bit more fresher legs than Ellen. But it's difficult because of what she brings. Her record speaks for itself, really, doesn't it? So I think we'll see, and at least we know we have a good option from the bench. If anything was to happen, or she doesn't get her form in this tournament, we've got someone else to come on, really, haven't we now?
Absolutely, we're not relying on Jodie Taylor Plan B. We have a bit more variety now. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, boys. I'm gonna throw at you now. What teams did you get in G's sweepstakes? And who's your person of interest from each team?
Right. I got Germany, which I thought was a bit of a luck of a draw because, as anyone knows, they are historically the greatest of the European clubs. They've won it 8 times, the Euros, winning it 6 in a row between 1995 and 2013. And during that period, they also won 2 World Cups as well. Obviously, this was before, the women's where it is now. They were basically like the Arsenal, just ahead of the curve. Yes, they've had their clash with England. They beat us in 1995, 6-2 on aggregate. In the 2001, they beat us the group stage, 3-0. And most memorably, we played them in the 2009 final when we lost 6-2. So they are, historically very good. However, I say historically, recently it's been a bit of a drop off. Since 2013 was the last time they won a trophy. They had a shock loss to Denmark in the quarterfinals in 2017. That sort of triggered the end of their era, and they didn't do that well at the World Cup, last World Cup either. They lost to Sweden, I think, in the quarterfinals. So they're going through a bit of a transitional phase at the moment, looking to build the next generation. There's plenty of talent coming through. Didn't really get the chance to shine at the Arnold Clark Cup because we beat them with Millie Bright, top scorer, getting a goal from an offside position. My person of interest is Tabea Vasselman, a player that I'm sure if you were watching.
Her.
You remember her? Yeah. So me and Lottie, we both went to the Emirates to watch Wolfsburg in the Champions League, and she was the one who scored against us. She also scored 2 goals against Chelsea at Kingsmeadow and scored 2 goals against Chelsea in a 4-0 thrashing away at the away match. Nice. So very, very good. She was scored 10 goals in the Champions League, just 1 behind Pateas. So she will be the top scoring forward in the Champions League, actually able to play at the Euros, with obviously the recent news found. So definitely my one to watch. If Germany do advance through, I think she'll be key to their hopes. I'll give you my other team as well, which is France, which is probably the antithesis to Germany, because Germany are ruthless and efficient and organised, and France are neither 3. Absolute ball of chaos at the moment. There's plenty of talent in there. Lyon winning the Champions League. They won the Champions League this year. And they've been one of these teams that have always been promising, but have never quite fulfilled their potential. England had a nasty run. We played them 4 tournaments in a row, lost the first 3, one of them traditionally on penalties, but did beat them in 2017 when Jodie Taylor got the winner. So we'll remember that one. That was a bit of a momentous moment. Unfortunately, we played the Netherlands next. Hosted the World Cup. I thought in 2019 was a brilliant World Cup. I think it inspired most of us to join the women's foot bandwagon. So for that, we owe them our, deepest thanks. Though the team didn't do that greatly, they went out in the quarters to the USA. Can't remember who they played after that. Now, the player I've gone for, I'm cheating. I'm not going for a player. I'm going for the manager, which is Corinne de Curry. And I discussed it with Lottie, and I think it's only right because she is the centre of attention of this women's football team. She's controversial, and she's made controversial decisions that have generated uproar in the fan base. Eugene Le Sommer and Amandine Henry have both been axed from the team, which caused some consternation when most of us who watched the Champions League final and saw a splendid long-range effort from Henry against Barcelona.
Great.
Yeah, absolutely. And so but she's not in the team. It's not the first time the manager's called it controversy. Years ago, she actually stripped Renard of the captaincy, although she's now got it back. So she falls out of everybody. If you go onto a Wikipedia page, there's a controversy section as long as your arm, but somehow she stays in the job. So clearly, I think the Women's FA are just happy just to let them keep on going and not, interfere. So there's antagonism and complaints all around it, and it just reminds me of the 2010 World Cup when a certain Raymond Domenech took France to South Africa, and had the most hilarious. We had strikes. We had players being sent home, and they lost to South Africa in the last group stage game. So at the moment, the French immensely talented, the likes of Marie Antoinette, Renard, and I'm sure we got a person. You highlighted players yourself. What they got in there, but. They just bounce between sort of brilliance and the bizarre, and you don't know what France you're going to get. They could go on and have an amazing run and win the thing, or they could crash out on the group stage. I'm hoping for the latter. I'm hoping for the latter because that'll be funny. Because especially after having suffered seeing England do the same thing in previous Euros. So she is the one. She's going to be keeping my eye on because I think this whole campaign will rest on her decision making and her management. And if it's anything like it's come before, I think it could be very entertaining.
Nice. Matt, who did you get?
I got a bit of luck, really. I got England.
Hey, you're the host. When that came out and you dropped it all in one go, the first thing I looked for was England. Who's got England? And it was you.
You got the goal.
And so it was kind of hard because we kind of set ourselves a little target of no WSL players, but I thought what I would do.
Daily, that's it, gone.
Yeah, that's the only player. But I thought about this and I thought about it long and hard because this is going to be a crucial moment. And if I was to look at England's squad, where are we we're quite light in the midfield area. But apart from that, defensively, we're good. It's just the goalkeeper that concerns me the most. Mm-hmm. And just to back that up, Mary Earps has conceded 1 goal in every game per game that she's played in over the last year. But some good things is that she comes for 7.3 of the crosses and collects them, but she is able to rush out the goal, clearing the ball when needed to, with a success rate of 0.82 out of 1. She started originally at Reading, left to Wolfsburg, came back to United, but before she left Wolfsburg, she won the Frauen Bundesliga as well. So she got an experience there, and that's an important thing to have someone that's got some sort of winning mentality, even if it was just for 1 season and abroad. But this is a message to Mary Earps. Please make sure that you can prove me wrong. I've been doubting for a long time. I don't want to see the sun and being there's a bird there, and then Viv Miedemar scores straight near the post.
Let it go, Matt. Let it go. You can't hold Vendetta on 1 goal.
Yeah, that is true.
But she did exactly the same when Everton came to Old Trafford. The first minute of the game, Claire Emsley goes down one side, and she cuts in to the into the area, and then she just lets the ball go straight across her, and she doesn't reach it in time. So things like that I want to see her improve on, and this is a big tournament for her, so hopefully she can get on with that. Fingers crossed she can prove me right or wrong.
I'll just on that one, Matt. I am surprised Earps got the number 1 because I think all of us watching on for quite some time thought Roebuck would have been the one that would be the number 1. I think it's fascinating that it's not her and it's Earps. I do think Earps deserve a chance to it, but I would also say that we've actually got quality on the bench that could step in and not have a drop off.
Yes,
if Earps fumbles, if she has a bad game, Roebuck is straight in or Hampton is straight in, and it'll just be as it is. And I think that's really interesting. But no, we'll see what Earps can do. See if she can prove you wrong. I hope she proves you wrong. I hope she stars, and we shall see what happens.
Yeah,
definitely.
and my other team was Iceland. So unfortunately, me and Adam have gone for Arsenal Pain FC, and I've gone for Sarina Wiegman, who actually got the 2 assists that knocked I nearly said England out, Arsenal out of the Champions League in the second leg. Yes, so her flush shot was the assist to Jill Roord, and then her cross was the one that Williamson put into the back of the net. I'm going to be quite interested actually, because I'm going to be going to the Belgium Iceland games, so I'll be able to see her live. She's very pacey. She's quite young at 21 years old. She's going to be wanting to run past defenders left, right, and centre. She'll cause chaos, and with that Belgium team, the way that they played, I think it'll be an interesting matchup for that game. That's for sure.
Hats off to the pronunciation, Matt. That was flawless.
That was brilliant. I wouldn't have been able to do that. So well done. Well done, Matt. Absolutely brilliant. I'm going to hand over to Gina so she can run through our categories again to see what you boys have chosen, because I haven't actually had a look yet. So
I don't know if you've already done it, but we've got the sheet on the go. But we'll take them now just so it's recorded.
I'm trying to remember what I picked. Oh, right.
We can try again. Adam, so who is your overall winner?
Portugal.
Portugal, did you say?
Wow, that is a wild card.
And there's a very good reason for that. Obviously, I want England to win, so I can't back them. I have to have 2 horses in the race, and I'm going for a Denmark Euro '92 vibe. Those of you may remember, Denmark did not qualify for Euro '92, but the hosts got. I can't remember who the hosts were, but I think it was Czechoslovakia. They lost Yugoslavia. Apologies, Yugoslavia. So there was a war going on, obviously there. They lost the right to host, so Denmark were drafted in to host the tournament, despite not qualifying, and they won the whole thing. They beat Germany in the final. So I'm going for a repeat of that, and Portugal coming out of nowhere, despite not qualifying for the tournament, and winning the whole thing. So that's the vibe I'm going for.
Nice. I like that. Golden Glove?
Golden Glove, I've gone for Lindahl of Sweden. Sweden obviously rightly won the favourites for the tournament. We saw how good they were at the World Cup. They beat us in the bronze medal match, and I think they're going to be very strong defensively. And I think behind that line is a very good goalkeeper in Lindahl. So she is going to be my Golden Glove.
Nice, good shot. England star
Williamson. I'm going for our captain. This is a huge step up for Williamson. So far, the only thing she's been able to flex is the fact that she scored a penalty 2 days after it was awarded. But I think this was a massive, if you know, you know. This is a massive moment for her, stepping into some very big football boots after obviously Steph Hawson lost the captaincy and then obviously left the squad. I think she's up for it. I think this is going to be her moment. You know, her face is everywhere, on billboards, on posters, on crisp packets. And I think she is going to rise to the mantle. And I think we're going to see a really good captain's performance from Williamson. It just down to whether Sarina opts to play her in the midfield or play her at the centre back. I think that's an intriguing debate. I think it will vary on the opposition, but I think we'll see a really good catch performance from Williamson. I think this is her moment.
Nice. And then final one, your top goal scorer.
Top goal scorer. Oh, and I think I've got a valued player as well. Top scorer is Vasma, as we explained, for the same reasons for earlier. My valued player is Lynette Berenstein, a player who we saw in the Netherlands. Looked very dangerous. I've heard much about her from some of my Dutch friends, and seeing her in action again and Ellen Road, she looked very dangerous. I think that the Netherlands are going to. I don't think the Netherlands are going to do well, but I think she'll be a star in that team and one to watch.
Nice, thank you. And just quickly, the same for you, Matt. So tournament winners overall.
I went for Sweden. I think that they're going to be looking to add those gold medals in the Olympics. They've been pushing for a while to be winning things, so it'll be interesting to see how they get on.
Yeah, nice. And Golden Glove?
I gave it to Carolina Graham-Hansen. I thought she would be able to be given a chance to shine, especially away from the Barcelona. She's not the main player there, so she got a chance to shine. Frida Mann and playing the balls in. I thought it would be quite interesting, especially with how Austria and Northern Ireland play in this group.
Yeah, nice. England star for you?
I gave it to Frank Kirby. I thought that if any time to show what you're ready for, why not at a home tournament where you're going to have the most backing?
Good shout.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
and then
fair enough.
finally, top goal scorer.
Oh, we just did top scorer. That was Hansen. Oh, so what's your goal? What's your
valuable.
goalkeeper? What's your
Oh, did it?
goalkeeper?
Oh, no, I said Golden Glove.
Oh,
Yeah,
Gold
but you
Glove.
gave-
I gave it. I think I've done it so badly wrong. I've given it to Paul.
You've done the reverse. You've done the reverse. You've done the
Flip
reverse.
it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
all right.
That's cool.
Have you done the valuable? Because the most valuable I went for Katoto.
Oh,
Ah,
okay.
nice.
Never had a potato.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you for that. We'll keep an eye on it as it goes along.
Okay, boys. I have my next very special guest in the back. Boys, where can everyone find you if they wanted to drop you a follow?
If you want to avoid me and block me like any 10 individual, you can find me at the @Adam Salterford, full of women's football nonsense and articles and memes and stupidity. But if you like that, I have no idea why, but you can find me there.
And my Twitter is @MattLR28.
Okay, brilliant, boys. Thank you
Nice.
so much
Class.
for coming
That's
on.
good
It's been an absolute pleasure. Absolute
Cheers.
pleasure with all of you. Have a great evening.
I'm sure
Very
you're going
soon.
to drop in on us the rest of the month, but definitely catch up with you too soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
boys.
you.
Brilliant. Thank
Thanks,
you.
boys.
Good stuff, lots.
No, 100%, definitely good stuff. I mean, it was really good chat. I know
Yeah.
I've got my very good friend in the Netherlands in the back. He's been waiting for about 20 minutes. So I am going to bring him in. And that is my very good friend, James Rowe. How are you, James?
Evening all. How are we all?
Good.
No,
Thank you.
James, long time, James, man. Good to see you,
A
man.
long
Great to
time
see
no
you.
speak, Albert. How are you keeping? Are you keeping well?
I am keeping well. We've been in anticipation for this tournament, James. I heard you coming on, so I said I've got to be on, man. I have to be on.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Grateful for the invitation and really nice to talk about the Netherlands as well. You know, Adam just touched on Lioness Bielenstein. I was fortunate enough to interview her when she first started out at Bayern Munich. And she's recently signed for Juventus. Her attitude is first class. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Although the Netherlands are in a completely different place than the last tournament where they won it, you know. And it's a little bit different, but there's still quality there. But it's not going to be as easy as last time round.
No, definitely. I know me and you were talking about the Netherlands game, the England-Netherlands game, and you were very mutual. You were hoping for a draw.
Yeah.
But was that scoreline a surprise to you?
Massively,
Overall,
massively. And Mark Parsons took full responsibility at the end, you know, about the decisions that he made. And also with Sarina Spitzer, you know, as she said herself, if the penalty goes in, it's a completely different game. England, the Netherlands, for me, it's all you want, whether it's men's football or women's football. You just want the game to be the best game as possible. You want it to be over as soon as possible. As I was born and raised in one country and I've lived in the other one for 16 years now. So you just want to see a good game of football. So it's always a game which kind of tugs at the heartstrings, but a fantastic result for England. You really see how Sarina Wiegman is showing her class. You know, everything she did at the Netherlands, she's doing at England. And one of the points I wanted to make was Lioness Bielenstein herself. When I spoke to her, she said that Sarina Wiegman is fantastic about making ties between players, friendships between players that really want to work hard for one another, and working with the collective of what a team actually can become and what they can achieve together. And you really see that she's replicating that with England at this precise moment in time.
Yeah, no, definitely 100% agree with that. I mean, like, we see these girls play week in, week out. Well, the Arsenal girls, like the likes of Viv and Mead, and like we can see the friendships are there. But I find with the England girls, the friendship is a lot stronger, and it's grown so much. Where me and Georgina have been doing our series over the World Cup qualifiers, even the warm ups to this. I mean, it has been incredible. Albert, I'm going to hand over to you.
Yeah, James. Firstly, again, thanks for your patience. By the way, yeah, doing a preview show, lots of guests. It's not always, it's a bit tricky, but Yeah, I think James, obviously you being living in the lovely Holland, I think the main talking point for a lot of England fans is obviously the appointment of Sarina Wiegman. I just managed to catch there was a documentary going around. It was Sarina Wiegman making the manager. Great watch, great watch. What separates James from other coaches in either the women's game or maybe even the men's game? What makes her so good?
Her attention to detail. Her attention to detail is massive, and giving players confidence. That's what she always does. She always gives players, whether they're seasoned players or whether they're younger players, she always gives them confidence. And if you look, for example, take Lynn Willems, who's really going to be the breakout star for the Netherlands at this tournament. She's done so well to come back from a back injury, and she's ready to go. And she's also received instructions from Mark Parsons that they want to build out from the back. They want to utilise the wings. And her choice to go from FC Twente to Wolfsburg, being so young as well, shows massive maturity. And there's elder statesmen in there as well, as obviously Sarina Spitzer with 200 caps. I was fortunate enough to interview her when she was playing for Vålerenga in Norway. And she was telling me that she's been involved with the Dutch national team since the age of 16. So it's a long time. But in the case of Sarina Wiegman, it's very much, her attention to detail, giving players confidence and going out there and enjoying yourself, because this tournament is massive for women's football. And one thing that I'd like to advocate as well is the same in the men's game. Anybody watching this tournament, whether they discover a new player, stick with that player at club level. It's something that I love to do in the men's game, particularly at club level, where you discover a young player and you stick with them and you follow their career. And I think a lot of people watching this particular tournament can do the same, because there'll be many great stars on show. There'll be some breakout players as well. And you see with the attention the women's game is receiving, how also the players are maturing. Because you've got to remember, a lot of these Dutch players, they would play football with boys in their youth. They wasn't always surrounded by women playing against fellow women. In the cases of, I think, Jackie Groenen and I believe Jill Rowe as well, they were playing against boys in their youth. So it would be a boys' team and they would be able to play. And they would play really well. So it just goes to show how the pathway of certain players is really important, and making the decisions at club level. Obviously, FC Twente here in the Netherlands are a massive club domestically, really pushing Ajax all the way. And you see how PSV as well are looking to become even stronger in the domestic game, and that also bears fruit at international level.
Just quickly, I'm interested to find out what it was like over there when Sarina sort of left the Netherlands team to come across to England. Was it like a surprise when it happened, or do you kind of think she got to that point where she'd completed one of the biggest things she could have, and it was just a new challenge she wanted?
Well, first and foremost, to Paul to become England national team manager was too much. Massive. She even said herself, this is the birthplace of football. You can't turn it down. And there was always kind of rumours as to would she go, wouldn't she go, but the pull to become England manager was just too much in the end. And also becoming European champion, having spoken to a lot of those players that achieved success in 2017, a lot of them said to me that only after the tournament did they actually realise what they had achieved. With the tributes coming out, with the way they were received in the different cities for what they'd achieved as a collective. And they've all written history together, and that's the most important thing. And I think this tournament will also show that it's tournament football. People love to kind of before the event say what's going to happen, but they need to remember whether it's amateur level or whether it's the highest level, there are always surprises in tournament football, and this tournament will be no different.
Yeah. Do you also think there's the players may be feeling an extra bit of added pressure because they are the current holders of the trophy?
Potentially, but the preparation with a manager who also has no command of the local language it means that the ingredients are a little bit different. Yeah. If you take the run up to 2017, being based in the Netherlands and having the tournament in the Netherlands, it was like fever pitch. You know, everybody was excited to be hosting such an event. It wasn't just held in the biggest cities. Also, Daventry, for example, home of Go Ahead Eagles, was used as a stadium. And you see now that with a manager who's managed in the United States, a manager who's predominantly doing everything in the English language. Of course, English is the second language of the Netherlands. Everybody learns English from the age of 5. But if you really want to get your message across, you know, you've really got to be able to do it in the mother tongue. And as a wise football manager once told me, you can be the greatest manager in the world. If you can't get your message across, that's you done.
Pointless.
So I think, I think they've learned a lot with the defeat to England, but it's really got to kind of come out the blocks firing with an opening day win against Sweden on Saturday. I think that's going to be vitally important.
No, definitely. I've been watching the Lemons for a while, and I think for me their weakness is around the back. Is at the back with them at the moment. It's a lot weaker than the rest of the field. Do you think Sarina will look to exploit that, like she did in the friendly, if we do come up against them at all?
Potentially, and also it's going to be really strange for her. I mean, obviously, playing in a friendly setup is a little bit different, but at a competitive level, you know, to face your country of origin at international level, as a manager once told me, Henk Wisman, who managed Armenia against the Netherlands in the 2006 World Cup qualifying, he was up against Marco van Basten. And I said to him, I said, what was it like for you as a Dutchman to play against your national team in international level, to manage Armenia against the Netherlands? And he said, well, James, it's a real mixed emotion. It's one that gives you a massive kick, gives you a massive adrenaline rush, but it's also very strange. And he also gave the anecdote of after an hour when it was 0-0 in Yevron, he looked across to see Marco van Basten be a little bit agitated. And I think in the case of Sarina Wiegman, it is her country of origin. She achieved fantastic success here at domestic and international level. But if they do face one another, she will be extremely determined because she's extremely committed as England manager. You see that in her press conferences, in the way she talks. I translated for you as well a Dutch media interview she gave not long before the start of the tournament, where she was saying about the commitment involved, being raring to go and hopefully writing history with England. So it's a fantastic opportunity for England, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens.
No, most definitely. Albs, have you got any more?
James, do us a favor, because we're getting a little bit of feedback when you're speaking. So come out and come back in, and then Lottie will bring you back in. Yeah, and we'll carry on. So there's much more we want to ask you. Trust me.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I should do that. Hang on one moment.
All right.
Brilliant. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
That's all right. They happen.
Well, James is gone. What I am going to do is we're going to look at. We've got 9 players for you all that are all ones to watch throughout the tournament. And I'm going to bring up my first 3. And G, I'm going to let you talk about your girl, your favourite. You absolutely go for it.
Hempo. It's hard, isn't it? Because you always, I think, with internationals feel a little bit sentimental with your club players as well. But for me, ever since really getting into it and following it with you on our shows, the standout player for me has always been Lauren Hemp. We were desperately waiting for her to score her first goal, weren't we? And it didn't take long. There was a few close chances, but I think ever since that goal went in, she's been firing non-stop.
I
think so.
Yeah, one went in and then the other 3 turned up.
Yeah, and that's the thing that she's bringing us now. It's almost as if she's been here, involved with the Lionesses for so long, when realistically she really hasn't. I think the right wing or left wing, I know her and me like to sort of interchange and swap, but it's completely her own. I think she's now made herself undroppable. Her form from Man City has obviously come straight through into every time she's been in with the Lionesses in camp. And I think her confidence as well, some of the goals that she scored recently, and one she very almost scored the other day on the volley. I just think having the confidence to be doing that, I know they're friendlies, but realistically you're heading so close into a tournament where it's her first major one. She's still quite young. There could be some sort of dip in confidence and nerves at all, but for me, I think she's taken it all in her stride completely. And I think if anything is going to set our tournament alight, it's going to either be done by her or be made by her. She's just the center of everything, really. And I'm excited for everyone because, with this tournament, there's going to be people that are watching the Lionesses for the first time because they've got good TV slots and stuff. So I think it's her time to really shine and make herself more of a household name as well. So yeah, really, really looking forward to seeing her throughout the whole tournament, really.
No, definitely. It's really exciting because it's her first one, and she's through the World Cup qualifiers, through the friendly, she's been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Albert, what are your thoughts on Lauren Hemp?
Wow, where do I start? You know what? The funny thing is with Lauren Hemp is even for someone of her stature in terms of height, she's very good in the air. And you wouldn't think that. You even look in the men's game with Diego Jota, he's not very tall. Robbie Fowler was never very, but they were brilliant in the air. But yeah, G makes a good point. I think she could be the difference between England winning the tournament. She's that good. I think the only slight criticism I would give, and I've mentioned this to you guys before when we spoke after the Arnold Clark Cup games, is just, it's a small criticism. Just get your head up a little bit. It makes such a deal. I think Chloe Kelly's very good at that. She got very good delivery in the box, but Lauren Hemp is exceptional. She makes England tick, and it's very important England transition the ball a lot quicker through the midfield to get the ball to her. So yeah, she's highly impressive, man. And yeah, she's going to be a massive plus for England.
No, definitely. James has now joined us back now, and I'm gonna kind of move on to the next country, which is the Netherlands. The one to watch is one of my favourites at Arsenal, but that is Vivianne Miedema. James, how incredible is she?
Well, she's that good. She could play in the men's game. That's been said to me by many of her teammates, such as the likes of Sarina Wiegman and Jewel Ords, also Jackie Groenen. She's that good. She could play in the men's game. Also, many opponents that have come up against her. Her movement is second class. Her attitude is tremendous. And you've got to remember as well, it's not just Arsenal that she played for. It's also Heerenveen. It's also Bayern Munich.
Munich as well, yeah.
And careers can go by in the blink of an eye. And you see with making the choices as to where you go at club level, it's so important. We're in the height of the transfer window where Inverness, for example, are loving the attention, but they've really got to think about the human side. I've spoken to players where a move to another country, a move to another club has literally made them or broken them. Even in some cases where they've fallen out of love with a game. And you wouldn't expect that of a professional player. But it just goes to show that these are not just professional footballers, but they're also human. And I think in the case of Vivianne Miedema, it's not just the attitude, it's not just the prowess and the goal scoring. She's done really well at Heerenveen, Bayern Munich and Arsenal. And obviously committed to Arsenal as well. So it'll be very interesting to see what the future will bring. And at international level, she will go down in history, and she's still got an awful lot left to give.
No, definitely, she's got a long, good career ahead of her. And do you know what? I don't know how much you've seen of the Arsenal women this season, James, but she's sort of moved into that number 9 position, and it's completely raised her game. So I am waiting for the Netherlands manager to move her there, because her game's just gone to another level, because she has openly said she doesn't like playing up front. So it's going to be interesting to see how he plays her all tournament. I do think.
Absolutely, I fully agree. But I think the collective is going to be really important. It's about the spine. It's not obviously the star players involved, but it's the collective which gained success in 2017. And for the team that wins this summer, the collective will come up again, because it's not just about the star players, even at the women's game now, but also with the men's game in the past. As the former AC Milan striker Graziano Ranari told me once, who played with the likes of Gullit, Rijkaard, Van Basten, and was managed by Arrigo Sacchi. He said a wonderful quote where he said that all great champions, they have to learn to play together. And I thought it was a fantastic quote, which applies to not only the highest level, but all the way down the football chain in that respect.
Oh, definitely, 100%. I couldn't agree more with that one. I'm going to move on to our next star. Liverpool have just moved up to the WSL from the Championship, and their star player is Rachel Furness for Northern Ireland. I have drawn out Northern Ireland, but because she's a WSL player, she is banned from being spoken about by me. So I'm going to hand this one over to Albert. Albert, what can you tell us about Rachel?
Not loads and loads, but yeah, she's probably in the twilight of her career now. I think she's 34. Northern Ireland's leading all-time goal scorer, and actually she won BBC Sports Personality of the Year in Northern Ireland in 2021, and was given the award by Jurgen Klopp. So I'm sure she's very, very happy with that. So listen, she's had a very good season, obviously, and she's going to be the talisman for Northern Ireland. So it'd be interesting to see how they get on. But yeah, I don't know loads and loads about her, but yeah, she's a key figure. But I think you know what it is. It's important, Lottie, that as much as we want England to do well, we talk about the stars that are going to be playing in the tournament, because for as G mentioned earlier during the sort of the stream, that this might be some people's first time watching women's football or the national side, or being aware of the talents that are out there within Europe as well. So it's very, very important to highlight that. And also just coming to James quickly, is it true with Viv Miedemar? She was the youngest player to debut at Eredivisie. Is that 15 years old, was it?
Yeah, well, exceptionally young, but exceptionally gifted.
Yeah,
there's photos surfaced online when she's obviously a huge Feyenoord fan, and obviously meeting Robin van Persie in his younger days at Feyenoord. The people often hope that obviously the progression that Feyenoord will make at women's level, that the storybook ending will see Miedemar play for Feyenoord. I'm sure that will happen. But I don't know if it will happen in the short term, but mid to long term, I definitely think so. Because she's also very passionate about the club and also wants the club to do well. And if you can play for your club, then you can't turn that opportunity down. But as I mentioned earlier on with Sarina Wiegman, she was involved from the age of 16. And she was the winning captain of the last tournament where the Netherlands actually won. So it's nice to see the progression of these players as well, because as you touch on, this might be the first introduction for many people about the women's game. And it's the highest level of the women's game. It's European football. It's international football. And I think it's a tournament that's got to be enjoyed for all the records that will be smashed and smashed again, and which is fantastic. I think what is important that people also enjoy it, because tournaments only come around once every 2 years. The World Cup coming up in Qatar as well, and they're moments in time. That's one thing I've learned through the years being a football fan and a football writer, that major tournaments are moments in time where in a couple of years' time you can reflect on what happened. I mean, obviously I was here in the Netherlands when they won in 2017. Been fortunate to interview many players that were involved in that, and it's been a real privilege, and it was fantastic to experience. And I'm secretly hoping that England get to experience the same this summer in London and also the whole of England.
Yeah. James, I've got a bit of a personal question for you. So obviously you're from England, but you live in the Netherlands.
Yep.
If either team go to the final and win, is it a win-win for you?
Yes, and it's people have asked me the question many a time. They've said, "Oh, James, if it's England, the Netherlands World Cup final, what are you going to do?" And obviously, I would veer on the side of England because I was born and raised there. It's my mother tongue. Obviously, my second language is the language of the Netherlands, having been here 16 years. So you just want both teams to do well. That's what you want. You want both countries to do well. But I actually think this tournament will throw up a few surprises, and I think that I think there'll be a winner, which maybe I've only seen a couple of people talking about the country that I'm going to suggest to win the tournament, and that's France. I believe that there's many similarities between France '98 and this French squad, in the fact of them not being talked about. If you think of France '98 when they won the World Cup for the first time, with all that talent at their disposal, nobody was talking about them. Nobody. And I think this French side, with the likes of Wendy Renard, with the likes of Cascarino, there's talent there. And I think that I see many similarities, and that's why I think that France will win it. Just to give a little anecdote about Wendy Renard, I was fortunate enough to interview Helen Ward, who played as striker for Wales, and she was telling me about the presence of Wendy Renard when you're in the tunnel and you're about to come out, and she's so tall. She's so tall, and she looked up and she received a nudge in the back from her colleague that said, "Don't worry about it. Maybe she's slow." And then she got out on the pitch and she realised that she's anything but slow. So it just goes to show. But I think this French side will surprise. I think they'll take the trophy home. I think it could well be a final against England, perhaps. Who knows? The draw can always people love to talk about what the draw will be, but they always forget it's a surprise. Is international level. Yes. One player I wanted to pick out as well before I go was Silvio Rebelo of Portugal. To play so many games for Benfica, that is a gargantuan club, huge football club. And I was fortunate enough to interview Chloe Lacasse, who is a striker for Benfica, and she said that Silvio Rebelo, although she's not the youngest anymore, she's still got immense quality. And if you look at previous international tournaments, the elder statesman or the elder player in such a case, they've always come good. You know, I think of Diego Godin, for example.
Oh, good player. Seriously.
A Rolls Royce of a defender, when people were thinking, oh, he's maybe a little bit too old. I think that Portugal will have a good tournament. Obviously, they were there due to different circumstances, but I think that they could well surprise.
Good shout. Great stuff, James. James, one more question before we let you go. Obviously, England in their last couple of tournaments, I'd say the last three. I look in when I say last tournament, I mean last two World Cups. Sorry, with Mark Sampson, 2015, finished third. The 2019, we finished fourth. I personally, I've said this before. I'm not sure how far forward Phil Neville took that England group of players. If I'm being perfectly honest. So what do you think? What has Sarina Wiegman done with this group of players, or the time she's been in charge, that you probably feel that maybe Phil Neville didn't grasp his time as England manager when he's with the ladies?
I think it's a great question, and I'll draw on my experience of having spoken to players that have played under her. Yeah. You know, the likes of Jurord and Jackie Groenen and Lynette Beerenstein. She's the one that creates the ties. She's the one that gives players confidence. And you see about the management game in general, where it's not just anymore the one manager, his or her way or the highway. Yeah. You've got teams behind teams now. You've got specialist defensive units. You've got specialist midfield units, and for example, taking shooting practice, for example, on goalkeepers coaches. One point I do want to make before I go tonight, which is really important. I think the role of Arjan Vuurink as assistant to Wiegman is massive. I would go so far as to say that his role will be the difference between whether England win it or whether they don't. Because yes, Wiegman, people know about Wiegman, but Vuurink was the one who gave confidence at club level to the likes of Jurord, to the likes of Jackie Groenen. His attention to detail is spot on. It's when I found out that Arjan Vuurink was going to be the assistant to Wiegman, I thought they've kind of got a winning ticket here. You know, if you've got like a presidential candidate and a running mate, well, they did really, really well. And he's someone who gives a lot of confidence to players. And people love to talk about assistants being, what do they do? I've spoken to many assistants, and including João Orosso, who was assistant to Fernando Santos at Sporting Lisbon during the time when Cristiano was breaking through. And he was telling me that the role of an assistant, you are there to provoke your manager into a different way of thinking. You've got to be able to help. You've got to be able to help him or her. If you don't do that, you're literally leaving them on their own. So that's why I think that although Wiegman quite rightly gets the plaudits for what she's done with England, I think that Arjan Vuurink really does deserve a lot of praise for his role as well.
James, fantastic, mate. Absolutely fantastic insight for you, man. That's why we want to get you on. So, Lottie, what else you want to say before James goes?
No, I just want to say thank you so much for being so
100%.
patient in the background while we've wrapped up with our other guests. And thank you again for giving your time
brilliant.
to us tonight. Your insight is absolutely incredible, as always, James.
Thank you very much for the kind words and fantastic insights from you all as well. I was listening in the back, and everybody made some great points. I hope everybody watching the show tonight, and I hope you all enjoy the tournament, have fun, and may the best team win.
No,
Exactly.
definitely.
Fantastic.
Definitely.
All
Thank
the
you so
best.
much, James. All the best.
James, speak
Bye-bye.
soon, man.
Thank you.
Take care, mate.
Speak soon.
See you later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Wow.
Brilliant.
What
Brilliant.
a guest
Yeah,
panel
yeah.
we've had on
Yeah.
rotation tonight. But
Mm.
don't worry, we are not done yet.
Not just
We are
yet.
not done yet. I'm sorry, guys. You're stuck with us a little bit longer.
Tiny bit longer
But
here.
we've still got 6 more players to talk about and some more predictions to come, I believe, haven't we, G? So
Yes.
I'm going to start off with our first 3 players. We've got Pernille Harder from Denmark, Ada Hegerberg from Norway, and also Caroline Hansen from Norway. I've got to be honest, 2 of these, I have no idea who they are. So I'm going to be the cop out and going to go for Pernille Harder because she's Chelsea's top goal scorer this season. And she, when she does play for Chelsea, she is absolutely sensational. I have seen like previous ones where she's put a few past Manu Zimmensberger, but that is my limit of my knowledge, guys. So she's definitely one to watch throughout this tournament.
Yes.
She's very impressive for Chelsea.
Yeah, they sort of say as well she's one of the best players around at the minute. I think we're very lucky to have that sort of stature of a player in our league as well, albeit at that club. But, you know, to be able to draw these types of players in is amazing for us, and it's only going to make everyone else in our league get better, really, isn't it? So, yeah, that's with Denmark. She's one of the names that I think is going to carry them when they maybe need to and get them a little bit further. But yeah, I echo what you say. We've seen what we have, but I think this is another chance of us to really keep learning about these women as well throughout this next month.
Very important.
Yeah, definitely.
Very important.
Definitely. It's a bit like James said. If you're going to watch a player and you enjoy watching them, follow their career. And I think we will find quite a few gems throughout the tournament. And as we know, G, the women move around a lot, even if they're only at a club for a year. So I definitely echo James's words. Albs, did you want to add on to anything about?
Thanks lots. Just a few things about 29 years of age. So that's the people say normally that's your peak of your career. They say that she creates many goals for herself and is always in the right place at the right time. UEFA Player of the Year twice, Ballon d'Or runner-up in 2018, 6 domestic league titles, and also has appeared in 2 Champions League finals with 2 different clubs. So amazing pedigree.
No, 1,000%. I'm going to go with Ada Hegerberg.
Yes.
Albs, fill me in. What have I missed?
Yeah, 26 years old, man. She took it's well documented. She took some time away from the national side because she wasn't particularly happy with the way. I'm not sure if it was in particular just football or the way sport was not great in terms of the attitude towards women. So she took a lot of time out of the national game. Obsessed with scoring goals. Lucy Bronze said about her. She's obsessed. 6 Champions League titles, Lottie and G. 7 French leagues, 5 French Cups, 1 Norwegian Cup, and Ballon d'Or winner in 2018. It speaks for itself. So it's great to see her back in the women's game. And hopefully guys will be able to see the talent that this woman's got.
No, definitely. And the final one on our screen is Caroline Hansen.
Yes.
Yeah.
27.
Unfortunately, I don't know too much about her. But just really quickly on Ada, just when she won the Ballon d'Or, was that the one where the man that presented her the award sort of said something quite sexist towards her as well?
I believe so, off the top of my head.
Yeah, because I can remember it going round of, I think it was something, the way she was dressed or something, he was an older type of man, and he'd made a comment, so I always remember her looking like extremely uncomfortable when it could have been and should have been one of the best points of her career. So you can understand maybe that was part of the reason why she she took a break as well, which is understandable,
So
isn't
I
it?
think I remember that. Come to think of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely. Thing is, if you were in that position, would you not take a break after that remark? It's not
when you think
generational
it's the best moment and someone has just taken that away from you and basically thought that your achievement was nothing compared to the man that has just won it. So you can understand, and it's just a shame that, you know, even at the highest point, as they say, can still be put down. So credit to her really for not standing for it and losing some valuable years as well.
Yeah, she did.
No, definitely.
But in terms of Caroline Hansen, I have to admit I don't really know too much about her, to be honest. I'm not sure what country she plays in. But obviously I think there she's wearing the captain's armband, isn't she? So another pivotal one for Norway for sure. And we'll be up against them, so it'll be interesting to see them both.
No, definitely, 100%.
Good player. Lottie, 27 years old, Lots. Plays for Barcelona. Key figure in Norway. Yeah, key figure in Norway reaching Euro 2013 final, 8 domestic league titles and 1 Champions League she's got. So again, massive pedigree.
No, definitely, she's absolutely massive, for sure. But let me get my words out. Albert, name me one of your players to watch from your team that you got in the sweepstakes.
I think mine's pretty obvious. She's been mentioned, and that is Athena Del Castillo. I didn't know too much about her, but this is the importance of actually watching the women's game, not domestically, internationally as well. Because at the time she played in the Arnold Clark Cup game against England, she only had 8 caps for the national side, just 8. And she came on, and I'll be honest, she ripped Lucy Bronze a new one. She was brilliant when she come on. No, she was excellent, Lottie. G, she was brilliant. I think she's 21 years old. Forward stroke wide left. She plays for Real Madrid, I believe, if I've got that correctly. And she's part of the Spain under-19s winning. Played for Spain under-19s and is part of the European Championship winning side in 2018. So this girl's got some serious. This girl's a serious baller, man. So I'm looking forward to seeing her play when we go next Tuesday. So yes, that's
definitely. She's definitely one on my list. I'm gutted for Alexia, but
yeah, big time.
I did go and watch Arsenal Barcelona just to watch her because she's incredible. I've got to admit. Even G was there with me at that game as well. So, who did you get in the sweepstakes? I haven't actually asked you. I feel completely entirely rude. And can you give me one player of interest?
Yeah, absolutely. So the ones I drew out were Denmark and Belgium. As I mentioned before, we sort of learning curve with Belgium, and just throwing it out there, we've been doing the sticker book collection between us. And actually, as silly as it may sound, it's been a real eye-opener to learn names. And then when it came to the Belgium team, I was getting quite a lot of the same people. So then it sort of stuck in my brain of when we were playing them in that friendly and they popped up, I was like, I kind of feel like I know who you are. Like now I'm watching you and I'm thinking, oh, actually, you're quite a good player. So as silly as it may seem, it's actually all these things are helping us all learn as we go along. But
100%.
I picked out for Denmark a player, midfielder, because that's my favorite. I always go for midfielders. That's my favorite area of the pitch. And I've gone for, I think she's called Sophie Pedersen.
Okay.
So she's 30 years old. She's currently at Juventus. And as I say, she's a sort of attacking, creative type of midfielder. She has got 77 appearances for Denmark and scored 7 goals, which is, just to play 77 times is good in itself, isn't it? But yeah, she's represented them all the way through as well, from under 16s, 17s, 19s, 23s, and then the main team. And the main team is where she's got the 77 appearances. So yeah, she's we might know some of the Denmark players, but I think maybe we don't know too much about her. So really looking forward to seeing how she plays in that midfield as well.
No, definitely. That sounds really interesting. I'm really glad you mentioned Juve, because I mentioned that earlier. I got Italy and I also got Northern Ireland. And my Italian player, which again I got like loads of with the Women's Euro sticker album, was Cristiana Girelli. I probably said that wrong, so I do apologise for everyone who is listening. She's playing in Serie A at the moment for Juve. She's got 58 appearances, 53 goals. So since 2018. Wow. So she's, I mean, absolutely incredible. She's played for Italy, played for her country since 2013, 78 appearances, 46 goals. But I think the most interesting thing with her is that she's a serial winner domestically. She's won 3 Serie A titles with 3 different teams, 7 times winner of the Coppa Italia, 9 times winner of the Super Coppa Italia.
Wow.
And she's just an absolute serial winner. But 2 of these cups were the Italian Women's Super Cup and the Women's Super Cup, but they've since been renamed. So with her country in 2015 in the World Cup, they became 4th in the world. 2017, they ended up 7th in the Euros, and 2019 in the World Cup, they were 10th in the world. But she's definitely one to watch. She's probably at the peak of her career as a striker at 32 years old, and she's actually really tall. She's actually 5'9", so she's a very, very tall striker for sure.
Good shouts, fantastic. Good shouts.
No, definitely. I'm now going to throw up our final 3 on the screen from France, Germany, and Sweden.
Ooh, 3 top players.
Definitely 3 massive top players. And Wendy Reynolds has already been mentioned.
Yeah.
She's tall, she's intimidating, and she's quick.
Yeah.
I don't need to say much more on that. She's her pace, the technique, and she likes her headers. I have to admit, they're just very, very powerful, and it's scary. She's been at Lyon since 2006, and she just hasn't left. There's over 250 appearances, 83 goals, and the list just goes on and on and on. And that's just in the league, not in the cup or the continental cups. That's just domestically. I mean, Albert, have you seen her play before at all?
Yeah, Wendy Reynolds. Yeah, I've seen her for the last couple of tournaments actually, and she obviously plays for Lyon as well. She's captain for club and country, 14 French league titles.
She's just won the Champions League this season as well,
and that's number 8, I believe, and 100+ appearances in Champions League as well. Wow. Seriously experience. So cool. People get to watch Wendy Reynolds, man. That's a serious defender, man. Serious.
No, and very, very dangerous on a corner.
Yes, set pieces.
Extremely. No, 100%. Our next player, I'll be honest with you, the most information I have on Sweden is Stina Blackstenius. And she's one of ours. She's been one of us since January, and I'm quite looking forward to seeing her in the tournament. But we've all agreed before when we put this show together, this show is also going to be about learning as well.
Yes.
Albert, what have you got on me on Fridolina Rolfo?
Yeah, she's probably my outside pick for a top goal scorer. But yeah, the first time I saw her play was obviously I came to the women's game in December last year. Arsenal Barcelona. This girl can play, man. Ex-Bayern Munich and Wolfsburg, 28 years old, so in the peak of her powers. A league title with 3 different clubs, 2 Olympic silver medals, and a World Cup bronze medal. So look out for this lady, man. That's gonna be she's gonna hit the back of the net, man. She's a very, very good player. Like I said, I saw her play for the first time for Barcelona, and that's who she plays for. So yeah, she's this top strikers. Of people, keep an eye out for Fridolina Rolfo. Trust me.
Definitely. G, do you know much about Fridolina Rolfo at all?
I mean, I think we were all on the same page last year when we got down to the latter stages of the Champions League, and Barcelona were setting those ridiculously amazing records of attendance. but that's when I first noticed her, as we're obviously playing in the midfield for Barcelona. Such a big club like that speaks for itself anyway, really, doesn't it? But I think just separately, the kind of person that she is. I recently saw a video of, they've all been to their training camps, haven't they, in their countries before coming over. And it's always with the women that they do put some extra effort to meet the youngsters and everything.
Yes.
But there was this one girl and her dad that were right outside the training ground as she was walking through. And she stopped for about 5 minutes to sort of chat to them. Signed her shirt for her while she was there. And as the girl was already amazed by that, and she kept looking at her dad to be like, wow, look what I've got. And then all of a sudden she turns and just gives her both her boots at the same time. So like things like that are just so like precious, and you know that could be that next player that comes through in 10 years time and has that wonderful memory, and it keeps it going, doesn't it? But I think it just goes to show the type of person she is as well. She's obviously won quite a lot. She's playing for one of the best clubs in the world. Sweden obviously now getting up there and thereabouts really for this tournament. And to still be so genuine and humble like that, to give away something that, to her it's just a pair of boots, but she knows what that might feel like to that young girl. That's what I sort of know about her. But again, I think we're all slightly excited to have a look at Sweden this time round.
Yeah, I think that. I reckon they might. Yeah, you know what? I think there's a fair shout from. I do.
No, definitely. I mean, when you hear stories like that, it's inspiring. It's trailblazing at its best. I know that domestically, any of the football girls, they will stay behind. They will sit there and chat to fans they know on the personal level. I know that the academies do that as well. So it's all trailblazing for the future, and hopefully we can get some good inspired girls that will with an absolute talent go come up for the future. Our last person is Lena Oberdorf. She plays for Germany. She's had 27 appearances, 3 goals as of the 24th of June. She currently plays for Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga. She plays across the back, centre back and left back, and she's also a defensive midfielder as well as a central midfielder. So she plays around the middle of the park. At 20 years old, she's playing for the national team already, which is absolutely brilliant. But she joined the national squad at 17 years old.
Wow. Yeah, last World Cup. Yeah, mad.
No, definitely.
I think Jonas Eideveld actually. I think when the Arsenal women came up against Wolfsburg, he said she is kind of your complete midfield player. She is. She was named player of the tournament in Euros 2017. Yeah, so she's young. She's young now. So yeah, in that tournament under 17, she was named player of the tournament. So again, this is another person to look out for. It can be some good players to watch this tournament, man. And looking forward to it, man. Absolutely. No,
definitely. G, I know you watched Wolfsburg quite a bit towards the end of the Champions League. Did you catch Lena anywhere on the pitch?
I'll be honest, I didn't. I obviously watched the Wolfsburg game, and I think just the way they were so together, they were so good. It just goes to show that they've got talent throughout it. And as James was saying earlier, Germany are now in this patch where they're sort of transitioning again, aren't they? From basically running the show consistently for years to going through a little bit of a rough patch and coming out the other side. And it's players like her, that young as well, to even, if you think realistically, to be internationally playing in the first team at 17, you've got to be a special talent, haven't you? And it was either that or you fall away a little bit, but obviously she's just sort of growing into her own, and again being versatile. She can go back to the defence, as you say, or play the defensive sweeper sort of role in midfield as well. So yeah, for sure, one to look out for, and a name that I think we'll probably hear quite a lot.
Yeah, well said. Good shout.
Definitely. last thing, guys, before we get on to our predictions, because that's probably the one everybody's waiting for. We've heard from everybody else, but it's our turn soon.
Yeah.
The last one. Who are your last players? I'm going to go with G first because I've been to Albert first quite a bit. So, G, who is your other player to watch out for?
Yeah, so Belgium, as I say, gone for a midfielder, of course. I believe she's called Marie Miniart or Miniart.
Mm-hmm.
She's 23 years old, represented them already at under 17s, under 19s, and then straight into the first team from 2019 through to now. She's only on 26 appearances and she's got 3 goals. So that's quite a good return for a midfielder, really.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm not too sure. This is where I got a bit stuck because it seemed that she's just had a summer move to Anderlecht from a club. I think it's club something the team was called, but it seems like they haven't said she's played for 2 years. So I don't know if there's something gone wrong there somewhere.
Yeah.
Or she's maybe missed out on club football. I don't know because of COVID, you know, their leagues might have finished. I'm not sure. And maybe it was just the internationals that kept going. So it she's just moved to Anderlecht this summer, I believe. So she's in between that point. So yeah, she's obviously part of the group. So something must have been wrong there with with the facts. So, but you know, if she hasn't played, or maybe through injuries, or as I say, through COVID, stopping leagues, I'm not sure. But to still then be back into it, back in the main squad just speaks for itself, really, doesn't it? So one of the names that you maybe don't hear so much with Belgium as associated with Belgium. So yeah, just a youngster really to look out for.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm going to jump in next because I'm going to drop in my last Northern Ireland player. And I think one to watch will be for Northern Ireland is Laura Rafferty. She's currently playing for Southampton in the Championship, who've just been promoted.
Well done.
The league's full name is the FA Women's National League, Southern Premier League division. So they had to, although they were champions, they still had to play off the last spot because Liverpool had moved up. She's had 20 caps for Northern Ireland. She plays at the back for Southampton in their promotion push. She's very tall and a very commanding central defender. So I think she's definitely one to watch. She reminds me where I was speaking to Matt. Matt described her of being like similar to our Leah Williamson in the way that she passes the ball out from the back, and like she's not afraid to get forward either. So she's definitely one to watch. Albert, who's your last player?
Yes, keep this short but sweet. Yeah, I've gone for experience. So obviously, Lika Martins, 29-year-old winger.
Good shout.
136 caps, man. So I know Holland are going through a bit of a transitional period. They're at a different point from winning the tournament to going into this one, but 136 caps and 54 goals. So yeah, she's gonna be one to watch out for. Absolutely experienced, well known, and she can deliver. So we'll see how she turns up in the tournament.
We saw what she had against England.
Yes,
the pitch.
Good player.
No, definitely. G, do you want to round off with our choices?
Round up.
Yeah, let's go through it. So, Albert, we'll go to you first. Your overall winner of this tournament.
Oh, I don't think I got, but I'm gonna wing it anyway. But no, overall tournament. I'm gonna be different. Obviously, I don't say England. It's too easy. I'm gonna Sweden.
Nice. I like that. Golden Glove.
Oh, you know what? Goalkeeper. You know what? I will go England. Let's go Earps. Let's go Mary Earps. Go on.
Yeah. England star.
You know what? I'm not gonna go for the obvious one, but I love this woman to pieces. I call her the Alexander Pirlo women's football. Kira Walsh. Passing ability, insane. Yeah, she's a top player, man. So yeah, Kira Walsh.
Nice. And then finally, top goal scorer.
I'm gonna go for Fridolina Rolfo.
Oh, nice. I like it.
Sweden theme. Yeah.
keep Sweden.
Yeah.
Lottie, overall winners for you?
Oh, do you know what? I originally did put England in earlier, but I'll be honest, I have changed it. I'm going for Denmark.
Oh wow. Okay, cool.
I'm going for Denmark just for a wild card.
Yeah, nice to be different.
So, yeah,
Perfect.
definitely. I mean, I don't want to jinx us either. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know what it is like with the men and women's. It's something about Scandinavian countries. It just, when it comes to major tournaments, they just deliver. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the way they're coached or the way they look at sport. Yeah, it just is. It's very good. Very good.
No, definitely.
And then Golden Glove for you?
Oh, I'm going to go for Arsenal's very own Manu Zinsberger. She hasn't let a penalty in since she's joined Arsenal, if I remember rightly, or maybe one. I think it might be one. Probably wrong. Matt will probably correct me. I'm hoping I can see him in the chat. And she's just been unstoppable this season, absolutely unstoppable. Yeah. And she loves an atmosphere. So I'm backing Manu all the way.
Nice. England star?
I'm going to go for someone completely different. Everybody's gone for me. I'm going for Russo. She was incredible the other night. So I'm going to back Russo for this one.
I like that.
Although she might not get the minutes.
Yeah. Top goal scorer?
Ooh.
Oh, it's got to be my Mead. It's got to be me, though.
Okay.
She's absolutely on fire at the moment. I spoke to her at the Villa game, and I said, I'm coming out to Manchester. I want another hat trick. And her face absolutely lit up. So it's got to be Beth Mead for Golden Boot.
And the thing with Beth Mead as well.
Her first hat trick was back in the qualifier against Northern Ireland, and she's gone on to do 4 more since. So I would like to see more. And that is the main reason why she's on the back of my England shirt. And the irony is she's got our number 7s. Bukayo Saka is 7 for England as well in the last Euros. So both my first England shirts have got 7 on the back. So it's brilliant.
Nice.
Now you know. Now you can make a good point. The thing with Beth Mead, I think they associate it with scoring goals, but actually the key passes as well. I don't know what order this is in, but I think her and Frank Kirby were 1 and 2 for key passes in the WSL.
Yeah,
so it's not just got Beth Mead. She's in the
she's had a record-breaking season for Arsenal in terms of her creating stuff and everything else. She's just absolutely on fire. I'm so excited for her to be going into this tournament.
Mido.
No, definitely. You'll probably hear me in Manchester screaming that. Even Mido's on fire to Freedom of Desire.
Yeah.
That has been in my head for a couple of days. The WhatsApp group that we've got with G, she will know that. But yeah, no, she's absolutely on fire at the minute, and I want her to continue. She's just absolutely flying, and I can't wait for her to be that, to sort of kick everything off. And then there's also the fact that her and Neil Williamson have got Jordan Nobbs' old numbers from previous Euros and World Cups, so that's pretty exciting as well.
Nice.
Shout.
Yeah. Do you want me to run through mine?
Yeah,
cool.
Go on, G. Right, G, I'll call the categories out for you. So who have you got for your overall winner?
I have gone with Sweden.
Okay.
Because of the things that I've been picking up and hearing about them, that not had a chance to actually watch them, but from what is being heard, they're up there. So I'm really looking forward to seeing if they live up to that. Yeah. And then Golden Glove.
Golden Glove. Okay, yeah, go for it.
I think I went for Mariette, you know.
You did. I've got enough in front of me, Jay.
Yeah, because I think it's shown with the previous tour. I think, was it last year? Jordan Pickford got it, but we didn't necessarily win. Yeah. So it doesn't always have to be the winners that keep the. No, sorry, it was the World Cup. He got it in the one before.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always
defensively very good.
I'm looking forward to seeing her, as we've all said today, be challenged a bit more. Because I think she has had it a little bit easy recently, but I feel like it's her time to shine. So I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully helping us along the way as well.
Definitely. Golden Boot.
Golden Boot. I went for Viv.
Yeah.
Shout, well done.
Because there's just always a goal in her, isn't there?
She's incredible.
92 goals in 108 games for Holland.
Yeah. I mean, we all know that she's a very humble person and she doesn't like to boast about it, but you know, as a professional, in that it's going to be in your mind that you get a few goals or a hat trick in one game, and you're closer to that deadline of 100. So I think she might not say it, but I think in the back of her mind, it's probably a nice little target for a tournament as well.
Okay, so nice. Most valued player. Now, your most valued player has got an ACL injury, so she will not be taking part.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So who would you change that to? That is my question.
Yeah. It's hard now, isn't it? Because of what she had won with Ballon d'Or and everything, and most valued player. I'm gonna go with Rowe. Well, let's go for Rolfo for Sweden.
Good shout. Good shout.
Nice.
You know, if I'm gonna go with the overall winners, then it's gonna have to be something like that, isn't it?
Good
shout.
Yeah.
And I think most people in the chat will know who your England star is going to be of the tournament. Do you want to tell everybody?
Number 11. Yeah.
I've got no idea.
Who is she?
It's actually she's called Lauren Hemp.
Oh, her. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard about her, but as I said before, she's just such an exciting player. As a winger type midfielder myself, I'm always excited to see those types of players. Like I like seeing people that will take players on like that. That's exciting football for me. And I just think it's absolutely her time to step up and show people. So fingers crossed she stays fit and goes well this tournament.
100%.
Yeah, definitely. You guys got some interesting choices. I know mine were kind of a bit weird, but they work for me. So originally I did have obviously England, but I didn't want to jinx it. I sat there and thought about it. No, just quickly change that to Denmark, and then I won't feel bad in the later stages of things. But I am going to wrap up tonight. We've been here for 2 hours, which is a bit longer than we actually officially attended. But I just want to say thank you guys for hosting with me tonight, and also I can't wait to do the rest of the tournament with both of you.
Yeah.
So it's really, really, really exciting for sure.
Lottie, let me just reinforce again. People, as me, Cannon Chatter and AlbertJTV, we're streaming from both channels, okay, for this preview. So hit the like for each and subscribe to both channels. So get them algorithms up, people, man.
No, definitely. And for me, everybody, it is good night. And Albert, any last words?
Enjoy tomorrow. Take it all in.
Enjoy tomorrow, Lottie. Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I've got getting there in the afternoon and meeting up with some of the guys, aren't you? So
no, definitely. I am going to be making some content videos while I'm up there. I will be doing some content videos when me and Albert head over to
Spain, Germany, Brentford on Tuesday.
Yeah, for Brentford Stadium. And also, I've got tickets to the final, so some content is coming your way from there. So I'm really, really excited.
Hope it's not too late. I've spoken to some contacts, man. They're trying, man.
Oh God, I hope so, Albert, because I am as well. I am
hard.
as well. I promise you. And
oh yeah, big up to the people in the chat, by the way. Thank you for the 2 hours that you've fantastic guests. Big up to all the guys that came on.
No,
yeah,
definitely.
like I said, man, obliterate the like button and subscribe to both channels, please, people.
Yeah, no, definitely. And good night from all of us on AlbertJTV and Cannon Chatter.